DAX stands for Data Analysis Expressions, and it is the formula language that is used within Power BI, Power Pivot, and Analysis Service to perform calculations on your data. Hello and welcome. In this video, we're going to be starting with the basics of DAX, and by the end of this video, you will know how to use simple DAX functions like sum, count, distinct count, max, and min. Let's get into it. So I have opened up Power BI, and first we're going to load in our data. The data set is linked in the description below. The link will take you to a Google Drive where you're going to find a folder filled with 4 CSV files, and we have one text file that contains a DAX formula that we're going to be using in subsequent videos. In my Power BI interface, I'm going to get data and text.csv. And I'm going to click on transform. The data is clean and we have that. As we're inside the Power Query interface, I'm going to click on new source, text.csv. It's going to take me back in there. So I'm going to do this for each of these dimensions. I'm just going to skip. Okay, I have all of my data sets loaded. And I'm just going to check that everything worked well. So this looks good. This does not look good. It didn't default to promoting the header. So we're going to take out the step first and click on use first row as header. And it does that and changes type. Location looks good. Product dimension had the same issue. It did not promote the header. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And we're good. And we're just going to click close and apply so that our data set is loaded into the view. Now that we have our data set loaded, Power BI would usually make an effort to create your relationships, and it has, and everything looks accurate actually. They're all many-to-one relationships in here. So the first basic DAX function that we're going to be exploring is the sum function. There are many ways to create measures within Power BI or to select a new measure within Power BI. And the first is we're going to be creating all of our measures within the sales fact table. So I'm just going to open that up. And one is you can right click the table within which you want to create the measure in your model, and you see the option here. Another thing you can do is when you go hover on that table, you see the 3 dots here that says more options. You can click on that and you see the option to create a new measure. Also, for every table that you select, you see the table tools option. If you come out, it takes that off. So once you click on a table, you see the table tools, and then you have these options in here, and you can create a new measure by clicking on this. So we're just going to go ahead and click that. And the measure we want to create is called total sales. And this is equal to sum of all sales within the sales fact table, and we have that. So to show you what this looks like in practice, I'm going to add in a card here, and I'm going to add our total sales into that card just so that you can see the numbers properly. I don't want any display units, so we'll set our display units to none. That's perfect. And there we have it, our total sales. Now the sum function responds to filter context. If I added in another visual here in, say, a table, and I added in region, for example, as long as the interactions are active, the sum function will respond to the filters within this visual, right? If I also go ahead and add the total sales into this particular table, there you see, and if I add a filter type visual and let's say we add segment. If I filter by segment, the sum function will respect that filter as well. So generally, sum adds all the values in a column and it respects filter context. So every time that you filter your data, it respects filter context in general. And I'm just going to go ahead and exit that. We're going to do our total profit as well. So again, we'll create new measure and we will calculate our total profit, which will be equal to the sum of profit within a sales table there. And we're just going to go ahead and add the total profit to our card visual. And there we have it. I'm just going to go ahead and use the multiple card visual so that my total sales can also be in view. So this is the visual that I used. Now moving on, let's say we want to find out our customer count. I'll go ahead and create a new measure. And I will call this customer count. Now my customer count, I say equals to count of customer ID because that's the unique identifier. But you notice that I'm picking the customer IDs within the customer dimension. And I'm just going to add that into this card visual, our customer count, 793. If I were picking the customer count from the sales table, and I'm just going to create a new measure. Customer count sales fact equals to count customer ID. So I'm counting all of the customer IDs within the sales table. I go ahead and I click OK. If I add that into the same card visual, you would see that this gives me about 10,000 customer counts. And I'm just going to go ahead and for my call outs, customer count, my value, I don't want the display units at all so that you can see the full number. You can see that it says we have 9,986 customers. If you go into your table, that number represents the total number of rows within our sales fact table. So if you look down here, you can see that our sales fact table contains 9,986 rows. And because we specified a count, it has counted every single customer ID, regardless of how many times they show up within the table. We're going to need to change how we calculate the count. I'm going to come in here and create a new measure. And this time around, we're doing the customer count from the sales fact table, and we're doing the count distinct. The function we're using now is distinct count of customer ID within the sales fact table. We're going to go ahead and close that up. And if I bring that in here, it should be the same 793. So count will count all rows, and distinct count would only count unique values within that column. You need to understand the context and how each of them work so that you know when to use one over the other. We're going to go on to max and min. Come in here, create a new measure. And our measure here will be max sale. And I'm simply going to go max sales. Now I will get rid of this. And we're just going to use the table. I'll take out this and add all the other ones that we created in there. And we're going to add in max sales as well. This is the max sale value, which means that the highest sale that we made was for this amount in that entire table, regardless of context. And to do min, new measure still, the function is min. So we're going to do min sale equals to min sale in the sales fact table. And we'll add that in here as well. And you can see the minimum sale is 44 cents. Now, if you filter your data within the report, all of these functions will respect your filter context. So if I selected consumer segment, all of these functions will change values to match what has been selected. And this just tells you that that main sale of 44 cents was made in the consumer segment. So if I go ahead and change to corporate, you can see that all the values respect the filter context. If I go ahead and filter to home office, you can see that all of this follow the filter context. They respect the filter context. And there you have it. Every DAX journey begins with these simple functions. Practice creating them, use slicers and filters in your report to see how they adjust in real time. This brings us to the end of this video. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel so you help us make more videos like this one. If you have any questions or things that you would like us to make videos on, please leave your comments in the comment section and I will be looking at them. And I'll see you in the next one.